Welcome to Mr. Mian, your home for the eerie and unexplained, horror stories in real life. Before tonight's spine-chilling story begins, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss what lurks in the dark. Tell me in the comments which country you're watching from and what time it is right now. Believe me, the more you engage, the more horror finds its way to your screen. For nearly a decade, I've worked the control systems of New York City's massive subway network. Officially, I'm a control operator for the MTA, one of many people stationed deep underground, monitoring train traffic, signal integrity, and track conditions. It's not glamorous, it's not social, and it certainly isn't meant to be exciting. My post is far beneath the Lower East Side, where concrete walls trap fluorescent light and time seems to pause. I work alone. That's how it's always been. Night shifts became my reality a few months ago due to budget reshuffling. I didn't complain. Quiet nights, blinking monitors, the steady hum of rail lines in the distance. It felt meditative. Most nights blur together, sipping lukewarm coffee, reviewing the signal charts, occasionally rerouting a delayed train. But recently, something has shifted. The system isn't just acting up. Something else is happening down here. About 2 weeks ago, I started noticing inconsistencies. A red light would briefly turn green, only for a second, before switching back. A train ID would flash onto a route long since cleared. Harmless, probably. These systems are old. Some equipment dates back to the 70s. At first, I chalked it up to failing sensors or outdated software. It wasn't until last Thursday that I truly began to worry. At exactly 3:17 a.m., I noticed a problem. Most lines shut down after 2:45 for maintenance and cleaning. But Track 3 at Bowery Station had suddenly shown activity. I checked the logs, no scheduled trains, no authorized reroutes. That track was supposed to be dead. Then I heard it. A low metallic screech, like brakes locking against steel, piped through the control room's overhead intercom. It was faint, but unmistakable. I tried to pull up the security camera for Bowery's Track 3. The feed didn't load, just blackness, not static, not distortion, just pitch black, like something had covered the lens. A strange silence fell over the room. Then, from the far corner, a forgotten relic buzzed to life. The old analog radio unit. It hadn't been in use since I started working here. Digital systems had long replaced it. The speaker hissed with static. Then a voice, a whisper, male, calm. Last stop, all passengers must exit. I froze. That's the standard end-of-line announcement conductors make. Only there were no conductors scheduled anywhere near Bowery. I was completely alone, every inch of my body tensed. I reported the event as a possible equipment glitch. Radio crosstalk, I wrote in the logbook. It sounded technical enough to avoid questions, but I couldn't stop thinking about that voice. The next night, I returned early. I prepped coffee and positioned the Bowery feed on my main screen. At 3:14 a.m., the same anomaly appeared. Track 3 registered as occupied. Suddenly, the black screen flickered to life, and there it was. An old train, pristine in condition, pulled into the platform. My stomach dropped. It was an R16 car, an outdated model phased out in the 80s. Yet this one gleamed under the platform lights. Even the paint was fresh, bearing the Transit Authority logo before it became MTA. No operator, no passengers. The train stopped perfectly. Doors opened smoothly. 30 seconds passed. Then the lights inside blinked, and the feed cut out. The analog radio hissed again. Step away from the doors. I didn't report it this time. Unable to sleep the next day, I searched internal records. In the archives, I found a report dated July 1974. A late-night R16 train on the now-defunct EE line had gone missing. 8 souls on board, 6 riders, 1 conductor, 1 engineer. Last recorded location between Canal and Bowery. Official cause, unrecoverable electrical malfunction. The file was buried, no media coverage, no follow-ups, just silence. I returned to work with a pit in my stomach. At 2:45 a.m., I locked onto the Bowery feed. At exactly 3:13, the pattern returned. Signal activity. Track 3, active. The screen blinked and the same train pulled in. This time a door opened and someone stepped out. A man, mid-40s, dressed in a business suit, slightly dishevelled. His skin looked pale, almost waxy. He looked around, dazed. Slowly, he approached the edge of the platform, staring into the tunnel, and looked directly at the camera. Our eyes met. He smiled. My blood ran cold. I grabbed the radio and called Central. "Trespasser at Bowery Station," I said. They checked. Came back. Impossible. Bowery is sealed, no activity until 4. But the man was still there until he wasn't. He walked to the far wall, placed his palm against a rusted maintenance door, and vanished. I started hearing things. Not through the monitors, but in the walls of the control room. Whispers. Not every night, but often enough that I started recording them. When I played them back, nothing. Just static. But while they played, during the playback, I swear I heard footsteps on the stairwell just outside my door, the kind that echoed slow like someone descending. Except the control level is at the bottom, no stairs above me. Tonight, the system flagged a dual alert. Track 3, active, but this time another tag appeared. A second signal. It read, "Control room occupied." But that's normal, right? I'm inside. It should show that. Except the position on the map wasn't where I was sitting. It showed movement, slow, towards me. I checked the camera inside the room, nothing, just me. But the tag kept moving until it stopped. Right at my seat. The analog radio burst to life. All aboard. I don't remember falling asleep, but I woke to darkness. The control room lights were off, the monitors dead. I stood, heart pounding. A dull red glow pulsed from the hallway. I walked toward it, past silent panels and cold steel doors, the source of the glow, the entrance to the unused tunnel off track 3. The train was there, its doors were open. Inside I saw them, passengers, silent, still, eyes open but unmoving. The man in the suit stood at the door, watching me. He raised his hand, beckoned. I turned and ran. I'm writing this from the maintenance break room. My supervisor says no one else has reported activity at Bowery. The cameras show nothing. The radio is clean. But every night at exactly 3:13 a.m. I get the same ping. Track 3, inbound. And now a new log has appeared in the system. New route, 3:13, control room to Bowery. Operator assigned. The operator ID? It's mine, and I never signed in. Before any of this began, my life was utterly forgettable. I'd wake up in my dull apartment surrounded by blank beige walls. Every morning followed a routine so repetitive it felt robotic. Grab my uniform, eat a cold breakfast, and go to a job that felt like a holding pattern for real life. Nothing changed. Nothing surprised me, and I think I got used to that. Safe, uneventful, painfully predictable. Then one night, scrolling aimlessly through social media, I saw the ad. It was for a trendy subscription box, no name needed. Their catchphrase? A curated journey back to the moments that made you. Something about that line hit me. Maybe I missed feeling something. Maybe I missed feeling anything. I clicked. The theme I picked was simple. Nostalgia. I filled out their extensive questionnaire, favourite cartoons, snacks, childhood memories. It felt harmless, fun even. I pressed submit, then forgot about it. 2 weeks later, the first box arrived. Plain white cardboard, minimal logo. I opened it cautiously, and I laughed. Inside was candy from the 90s. Sugary, sour, simple. It smelled like elementary school. It tasted like Saturday morning. For the first time in months, I felt good. Really good. The box had worked. The next ones would be even better. Box number 2 had a stretchy action figure, exactly the kind I'd owned as a kid. Box number 3 had a DVD of a goofy old movie I hadn't seen since rainy weekends at my grandma's house. Box number 4 CDs from high school bands I'd long forgotten. It felt like magic, like someone had cracked open my memories and served them back to me. I recommended it to co-workers. I started looking forward to mail day. Then box number 5 arrived. Everything changed. I opened the 5th box like the others, but inside was no candy, no disc, no toy. It was a stuffed bear, worn, one eye loose, brown fur matted. I froze. His name was Barnaby, my childhood companion. My mother gave him to me after a fall when I was 5. He vanished after her funeral. It wasn't a replica, it was him. How? I emailed the company immediately. Their reply was automated and cheerful. Our proprietary algorithm connects you to resonant artifacts from your past. No answers, just buzzwords. I felt the first seed of fear take root. The next box came faster, less than a week later. Inside was my grandfather's silver watch. It had been stolen years ago, reported, gone. Now it ticked in my palm like nothing had ever happened. Another box, a concert ticket stub I'd lost the night my wallet was stolen on the subway. Same crease, same pen mark on the back. I checked my bank account. Only one charge, the original one. They weren't billing me anymore. But the boxes kept coming. Now I was terrified. I went to the website, no cancellation button, no phone number, just a glowing FAQ. I sent a panicked email, stop sending me boxes, cancel my account, this is not okay. The reply came instantly, word for word identical to the last. That night, I didn't sleep. I checked locks, turned off my phone, but when I stepped outside in the morning, a new box sat waiting for me. I left it, didn't touch it. It stayed for days. Eventually I opened it, just to end the anxiety. The box was empty. No paper, no object, just a Polaroid photo face down. Me and my mother, from a summer picnic. She was smiling. She'd passed a year after that was taken. I hadn't seen that photo in over a decade. I picked it up. A folded note was tucked into the frame. It said, "We can get anything back for you." I dropped the picture. What did that mean? The algorithm hadn't just predicted preferences. It had accessed objects, physical, impossible, deeply personal. This wasn't nostalgia. It was something far more powerful. On the bottom of the box, another slip of paper. Who's next? My breath caught. This was no longer about my past. It was about my future. I swept the apartment, looked for cameras, checked for trackers, my laptop, phone, thermostat, anything that could be listening. I unplugged them all. I spoke aloud to an empty room, begging whoever was watching to stop. The silence that answered was worse than any reply. The next morning, another box. This one had a broken photo frame, from my first apartment with her. A reminder, or a warning. I took the Polaroid and went to a friend, someone in IT security. They scanned it. The metadata? Blank. The image? Real. No sign of manipulation. They joked about AI deepfakes, but I saw something shift in their eyes. Even they were disturbed. The note had no fingerprints, no fibers. I left it with them. The next day they called. "Don't bring me anything from that box service again, ever." I asked why. They hung up. I no longer checked the porch. I taped the peephole shut. Boxes still arrive, but I don't open them. They pile at the door like snowdrifts of my own haunted past. My mother's photo is framed on my table. I don't touch it. Sometimes I think about that final message. We can get anything back for you. What would happen if I asked for her? Would she return? Would it really be her? I don't want to know. But I also do, and that's the most terrifying part of all. We had just one more month to endure. July had arrived, bringing with it the countdown to the end of our lease. 1 month until we could leave the house that had slowly stolen our peace. We weren't wealthy, just a family of 5 scraping by on honest work. 1 car, 3 daughters. My partner and I worked in senior living facilities. Stable jobs, not glamorous, but they paid the bills. Last year, moving into this house felt like winning a prize. After years in a rundown trailer park with leaky ceilings and broken windows, this place felt like a miracle, a real home. Central AC, a garage, a fenced yard. The girls picked their rooms with glee. I remember crying that first night, overwhelmed with relief. But it wasn't long before that relief turned into unease, then dread. It started with my youngest, just 8 at the time. She came into our room one night, pale and serious, not scared, not crying, just quiet. "The red man was watching me," she said. I brushed it off. A new house makes strange shadows. A child's imagination runs wild. I reassured her, let her sleep beside me. But a few nights later, our middle daughter wet the bed. When I asked why she didn't get up, she whispered, "I don't want to say. It hears when we talk about it." That was the first time I felt the dread. One night, as my partner and I watched a movie, we both paused at the same time. That instinctual pause. Something was wrong. Then we heard it. Footsteps. Slow, steady, deliberate. But our house has no second floor. Just an attic. My partner checked on the girls. All asleep. The attic hatch was closed. Still, the sense that something was up there lingered. Sleep didn't come easily that night. Things escalated slowly, flickering lights. The garage door slamming without cause. The hallway mirror cracked from the inside. Our dog refusing to go near the laundry room, the same room where the attic hatch is located. The silence always came first. Total, unnatural silence. No fridge hum, no outside noise, like the world had been paused. Then came the smell, burnt metal, like pennies scorched on a skillet, thick in the air, heavy in our throats. 2 weeks ago, I saw something. Just a flicker. A blur of movement in the hallway vent above the girls' bedroom. Those vents don't show anything but shadows, yet I saw something pass above it, as if it crawled on the ceiling. Wrong side up. We keep the lights on at night now. The dog won't come near the laundry room. She trembles at the threshold. Once I tried to coax her inside with a treat. She wet the floor and ran. I tried not to panic. Maybe the house just had bad wiring. Maybe the silence was in my head. Maybe the smell was dust or mold. But it always happened the same way. Silence, then smell, then shadows. Last night was the worst yet. The girls came into our room without a word. Not crying, not complaining, just quiet, like they knew it was safer here. I let them pile into bed. I turned the fan on, kept the hallway light burning, then like clockwork it began. The silence, the complete eerie hush that makes your ears ring. The fan stopped. The porch light flickered out. The air grew hot, heavy. Then the smell, stronger than ever, a mix of copper and ash. And then a whisper, almost inaudible. My youngest, face buried in the blanket. He's in the vent again. None of us slept after that. We can't leave yet. The lease isn't up, and we can't afford to break it early. But I'm starting to worry this isn't about the house. What if it isn't just lingering here? What if it's noticed us? I don't think it's a ghost. It's not cold spots and flickering candles. It's not whispers through static. It's silence. Total, complete silence that signals something is near. A wrongness that seeps into the walls, into us. I feel it even when I'm not home. At work, in the car, in my dreams. That oppressive hush, that sense of being observed. It's getting worse. We finally opened the attic. It wasn't my idea. My partner insisted. Said we needed to look to know what we were dealing with. I held the ladder as he climbed. The attic was dark, the bulb up there long burned out. He shone a flashlight inside. The insulation was torn. Old toys we didn't recognize were scattered near the hatch. And scratch marks. Long, deep gouges in the wood, like fingernails, like something had tried to get out or in. We didn't speak of it in front of the girls, but they already knew. Our youngest said she saw him again, this time standing by her closet. Red, tall, no face. She didn't scream, just walked into our room and stood at the door. I held her, listened to her breathing. She whispered, "He doesn't like the lights." We replaced every bulb with bright LED daylight bulbs. We bought battery-powered lamps. We kept flashlights by every bed. The night stayed quiet, but the silence never left. Last week, I woke up to movement. On the ceiling. Not the shadows from cars or trees. Not from passing headlights. Something was crawling. I grabbed my phone light. The ceiling was empty, but the air still smelled like burnt copper. The dog was shaking beside the bed. And there, on the ceiling above the girl's room, was a faint red smear, like a handprint. We tried not to talk about him, but the girls know. They whisper about when the silence comes. I tried recording the house during the night. The footage goes black for a minute every night at the same time, 3:17 a.m. That's when the dog starts whining. That's when the smell appears. That's when I wake up. We're being watched. There's only a few weeks left. The lease ends soon. We're packing slowly, carefully. But I don't know if leaving will help. What if he follows? Every night I sit with the girls. Lights on, fan running, doors locked. And I wait. I wait for the silence. Because that's how I know he's getting closer.